Yesterday, I revealed the allegation that duty solicitors were pressuring people arrested around the time of the Southport massacre to plead guilty, and they used scare tactics to do so. Well, today I can reveal that an immigration judge responsible for some bonkers rulings has written for a pro-open borders website and used to work as an immigration caseworker, helping people stay in Britain. Sarah Pinder wrote for the website Free Movement. Now, the clue is in the name there. It offers refugee law starter packs and even did some Valentine's Day activities for refugees, which is all very touching and in no way deeply weird. Pinder specialises in immigration and family law and spent 6 years, apparently, in the not-for-profit sector as a specialist immigration caseworker. I accept that judges specialise in certain areas, but I would argue that there could be a political or ideological bias there, which she will no doubt deny. And if that's the case, then she should never have been allowed to become an immigration judge. Of course, this is the judge who allowed a Zimbabwean paedophile to stay in Britain because he might face persecution in his home country due to his horrific past. She was also one of 2 judges to declare that a Sudanese asylum seeker was a child, despite the Home Office saying that he was at least 23, had a receding hairline, a thick beard, wrinkles and crow's feet. I think every single immigration judge needs to be investigated now to check for any potential conflict of interest. The Sarah Pinder revelations came on the same day that more devastating immigration figures were revealed. So these are startling. Number 1, in Britain, there are 40 nationalities who claim benefits at a higher rate than Brits. People from the Congo, Iraq, Afghanistan, Eritrea, Syria and obviously Somalia. It costs you about 8 billion quid a year. Number 2, the Home Office awarded 850,000 long-term visas last year. The top countries were India, China, Pakistan and Nigeria. Number 3, a record number of British passports were awarded last year to non-British citizens. Indians and Pakistanis top the list. Number 4, a record number of people claimed asylum in Britain last year. 108,000 people. The same number, apparently, as the population of Salford in Manchester. There were just 8,200 enforced returns. And that's not a surprise, is it? That small number of people that we can actually deport. Because we've got judges like Sarah Pinder presiding over the cases. Let's get thoughts of my panel this evening.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Former Conservative MP Anna Firth, Tory peer Lord Bailey, and ex-Labour Party advisor Matthew Larzer. And first things first then, that judge, that passed there, writing for what is I would argue, quite a fanatical, open border obsessed website, doing so pretty regularly, actually, and previously working as an immigration caseworker pro bono, from what we can gather. So essentially going out of her way to, if all of that is accurate, for free, help people stay in Britain, is now a judge deciding who can stay in Britain, making some bonkers rulings.
Yeah, well, there's a few things to say about this, Patrick. She did start off as a caseworker, but fair dues to her in terms of her professional qualification. She did become a barrister at Goldsmith Chambers, but she's got this completely wrong. This is all about justice having to be seen to be done as well as done, and that is why judges have to be seen to be politically impartial. You know, it's part of the whole training. It's what we expect from our judiciary, and she is getting this completely wrong. And I would say she's getting it so wrong that I would actually expect the Lord Chancellor to be doing something about it. It's not.
Do you think she should be what? What's the phrase? Disbarred? Is that right?
No,
as a judge?
The interesting thing is that the Lord Chancellor, so that's Shabana Mahmood, has the power to remove or suspend certain judges. Not all judges, but district judges and county court judges and immigration tribunal judges.
Yeah.
But, and here's the rub, I mean, not that she'd do it anyway, because, of course, you know, her view is that, fine, let everybody in. But she would have to get the consent of the Lord Chief Justice, who has been remanding Keir Starmer lately, so that wouldn't be forthcoming
look,
either.
Matthew, you were shaking your head there. I mean, hey, look, I think there is
I was half agreeing with Anna.
There's a compelling case to say that there is a decent amount of anecdotal evidence, at least, that would indicate that Sarah Pinder does want to let everyone in.
Oh, yes, I think Sarah Pinder probably does.
Oh, right.
I'm not sure that Shabana Mahmood doesn't, and therefore I think the government might act on this, because one of the big problems, as we discussed last week on this sofa, is that the issue is that whatever the rules are, the judges are interpreting them in such a way that it just seems plain daft. One of my friends is an immigration tribunal judge. She is, you know, we were in the Labour Party when we were young together, when I had hair and hope, you know, she has obviously been completely apolitical. You know, ever since she was
being in the Labour Party.
Well, I mean, this is.
How many times does this have to happen? Seriously?
Yeah, but I tell you what, you'd like her record of sending people back. Yeah, but seriously, she would not take the same view as Sarah Pinder, is what I'm saying. In private conversations, is what I'm saying. But she is obviously completely neutral. She hasn't done anything political for 25 years. So there's a big difference between writing for a website whilst you're serving, even if part-time.
Look, I'm just at pains to stress here that Sarah Pinder will no doubt be absolutely adamant about the fact that she does the law. There's no political bias whatsoever. Yeah. She's completely above contempt and beyond reproach. However, I wonder whether or not she should be struck off.
I'd go deeper. We've spoken at length on this sofa about the politicisation of the legal system. So judges over-interpreting law, people being of the opinion that they are expressing their personal opinion in judgments they make. The legal system has to protect itself from that, because eventually, if that becomes the way, the public believe that, they'll affect it through politics. And politics is great, but let's just say it isn't always temperate in its behaviour. Yeah. And if I was very senior in the legal system, I would have better checks. So someone who had these very obvious, traceable political beliefs, fine, make them a judge where their political beliefs are far less likely to bring the whole system.
It's a bit weird that somebody who's on this area.
No, the whole point here is that you should not be political. The judiciary is supposed to be independent.
There's no one in the world who doesn't have a political belief. But the point is how I feel about immigration, right? If I had been writing reams and reams and reams and campaigning and activising, fine, make me a contract lawyer, make me a criminal lawyer, judge. Don't put me in a place where the system will be brought into
When you become a judge, part of the training is you have to leave your political beliefs at the courtroom door.
You're missing my point.
I fully accept that. Is unable to do.
I fully accept that, but I can't make the assertion she isn't doing that or not. What I'm suggesting is the system should move her and us beyond that point.
OK, so look, we spoke about the judge. I mean, by the way, look, we've been covering these absolutely batty immigration rulings, of which she has been one of the vanguard of a lot of this stuff. Could it be explained by her past? I would love to have a look at the past of. Are you ready for this at home? He's one of the favourite names that we've got, Hugo Benedict Norton Taylor. I would love to see what they talk about in private company. Again, I will stress, they will deny any and all wrongdoing. But I want to get on to some of the other facts. This is arguably a bigger story. 40 nationalities in the UK now claim more in benefits or benefits at a higher rate than Brits. Do you not think this is absolutely astonishing? Here in Britain, there are 40 different nationalities: Morocco, Somalia, Iran, Syria, Eritrea, Algeria, Afghanistan, Iraq, Congo, etc., where they claim benefits at a higher rate than Brits. I mean, how are we allowing this to happen?
Oh, I think that this is completely wrong and it has got to be reformed. One of the things, going right back to when David Cameron came into office, one of the good things he did was to say that you cannot claim more in benefits than the average salary in the country. That has sadly been completely forgotten about. And the thing that I find absolutely inexplicable is that we are paying up to £45,000 a year for asylum seekers to be sitting in hotels, being fed, getting cleaning services. This is way more than the average salary in this country. It's like £8,000 more. It's completely wrong.
Sean, record number of passports awarded. So forget people who are coming here on benefits, forget people who have been given just long-term visas. Record number of British passports awarded to non-British citizens from India and Pakistan. Why do we give our passport away so willingly?
So just before, we cannot forget the huge amount we're paying in benefits. And this Doge stuff that's going on in the States, we need a version here because we are also sending benefits outside of the country. Somebody needs to do something about that because of British people who are struggling to make ends meet. It simply isn't fair. When you talk about giving away the passport, there's no doubt that the Tories were not good on immigration. We could have done better. I maintain the Labour Party really beat us on the politics and force us in the corner, but we're fast approaching the point where the Labour Party now will have to carry the baby on this. And it looks like they are not making the headway that they promised. And our immigration, what's important about immigration, it isn't a today problem, it's a forever problem, because you now have people in your economy who you have to support properly. Now, we need to do something about the numbers and immediately, and this isn't about race. This is about numbers, because no matter who you are, you only have to look at the benefit bill, it affects us all.
Yeah, I mean, there is an aspect to it in the sense of race and just purely in the sense of, like, culture, etc., and all of that stuff. If you're looking at people coming from maybe rural Pakistan, for example, radically different culture, radically different values. A lot of the time, when it comes to things like homosexuality and women's rights, so it's a separate conversation. I take your point. But, Matthew, what do you make of these kind of devastating figures that we're seeing here? I mean, another one there was this will include the Tories' tenure, of course. Labour haven't been in that long, but 108,000 people were able to claim asylum in Britain last year. So that's a record, apparently. So it's a record.
Well, it's a record, Patrick, apart from the last time Labour were in power. And that was the last
All
record.
right.
Well, it was in 2002, and then Labour put it right down. And remember, we looked at the graph last time, Anna, and Labour got the figures right down. Just to correct something Anna said, on the benefits cap that Cameron introduced is still in place. The Labour government hasn't removed it. Right. So there is still the benefit cap on the total amount that you can claim benefit. It hasn't changed.
That's true.
It hasn't changed. It's the same as it was.
We've now got this situation where people who are in asylum hotels.
That's why we want to close the hotels, Anna. Absolutely.
£5,000, but you're not.
We are.
You're not.
The hotel, another 4 are closing in the next 5 weeks. Look, the reason the figures. Anna,
why have you announced that you're going to extend hotels until 20?
Because some of them, it's taking time, but they are going one. I mean, in terms of bringing the numbers down, what Labour didn't do is put that cheap slogan on of "Stop the Boats." Yeah. What it actually does have is a plan. Today, for example, the French have agreed to actually physically stop the boats on the shores of France. An agreement today. Yes, not instantly, and that's what's going to happen.
Asylum hotels,
and that's what's happening.
Not happening.
OK, we approached Immigration Tribunal Judge Sarah Pinder for comment. I don't think we've heard back, but a spokesperson for the judiciary said judicial independence and impartiality are fundamental to the rule of law. Upon taking office, judges take the judicial oath, where they swear to act without fear or favour, affection or ill will. In each case, judges make decisions based on the evidence and arguments presented to them and apply the law as it stands. Right, OK, a heck of a lot more to get to. We're going to take you stateside. Big day for Keir Starmer. We're also going to be using a body language expert to analyse what's been going on in their meeting, and massive news about the BBC apologising for basically Hamas propaganda. OK, but before all of that,